Thanks for coming to our discussion on wellbeing. I'm Tom McMorrin, one of the managers at OCG, along with Pip Dale and Claire O'Sullivan. I'd like to welcome you on behalf of our GM, Greg McAllister, who looks after the OCG group across 4 locations in New Zealand. And despite his many talents, he's not omnipresent. Today he has commitments in Wellington, so he'd love to be here to talk about his passion from his own journey as GMHR at ASB, from health and safety to wellness to wellbeing, and he probably would have talked at length. If you want to talk to him though, he's opened the invitation for you to give him a call and have a quite long chat. All right, if you've enjoyed Eat My Lunch, there's a child in a school playground somewhere very, very happy. And if you haven't, there's plenty left. And if you'd like seconds, there'll be a child who'd be even more grateful. Before Pip briefly outlines our white paper and then Claire introduces our panel of experts, I'd like to quickly explain why there are 4 logos, not there, on the door
Right
as you walked in. Those 4 logos. So OCG Consulting focuses on mid to senior executive recruitment across most industries, with specialist teams in accounting, finance, technology, project management, supply chain, operations, sales, marketing and HR. And we've also got a specific team focusing on specialist financial services roles. OCG Group is owned by Chandler McLeod in Australia, and the Chandler McLeod team here recruits support level roles across administration and finance, with a specialist focus on call centre recruitment. And Rebecca O'Hagan manages the team here in Auckland, and we've also got another team in Highbrook for our South and East Auckland clients. Luminary is our executive search business managed by Carol Dallimore, and their focus is general management, CEO and director level roles. So between us there aren't many roles that we haven't got a specialist team. We've also recently welcomed Grafton, an HR consultancy, which is our sister company, and they focus on organisational change and performance. So that's us. Let's get stuck into wellbeing. After you've heard from our panel, there'll be an opportunity to ask questions, so don't be shy. And we'll make sure you're all done in time to get out into rush hour at 2 p.m.
Thanks, Tom. So I'm going to keep this pretty brief. I don't want to go into too much detail, and I know you're all keen to hear from our panel today. So the white paper we've recently released, which you have a copy of in your hand. So this is one of a series of white papers that we release here from OCG, that we use our database and our network, to follow up on key topics or industry trends that we're seeing across the market. So what is workplace wellbeing? I think from initial responses and a lot of people that I've talked to, this is actually quite confusing. What people view as some of the hygiene factors around social club or volunteer days. Is that considered a wellbeing program or not? You can see there 63% of employers began their workforce wellbeing journey based on looking to retain employees. So over the past few years, a lot of candidates that we've seen have been just really relieved and working hard to keep their jobs. Things are changing, and we're finding that top talent has different expectations of who they work for, where they work and how they work. And really, businesses that aren't doing things a little bit differently or offering something new is absolutely driving people's choices that we're seeing across the market. Only 41% of board members came back responding that they felt that this wellbeing was extremely important. So interesting, the research is indicating that employees are driving this more than from a top down. the demographic of New Zealand boards has been possibly quite traditional for a period of time, and that is changing and needs to be challenged probably as well in terms of their thinking and what is important to them versus their emerging workforce. 66% of employees want health checks versus only 38% of employers that are looking to provide this. So some really interesting, not huge game-changing rocket science wow initiatives, but some real basics that came back as being really important to people, but perhaps aren't being utilised or implemented throughout a number of businesses. 2/3 of employers came back saying that actually employee engagement or involvement in a wellbeing program or the like is actually the biggest challenge. So without going into too much detail, it became clear that employers that are rolling out a one-size-fits-all, yay, we're really a great organisation, we care about you, here's some wellbeing stuff, was perhaps not being bought into at an individual level, or was losing momentum quite quickly as well, and not having, the return on investment that employers were hoping for as well. So, and then finally, just an interesting outcome that, just over half the people we surveyed simply Googled or used Google to figure out what is wellbeing or resources in this space. So, what that shows us is that perhaps there is a great opportunity for employers and also people in this specialist field to really develop things further and provide a little bit more structure and process and education in this space. So it has been a really popular topic, and thank you all for showing up today. So I'll hand over to Claire, who will introduce our panel.
Thanks everyone for coming today. I have the pleasure of introducing our panel. Firstly, we have Adrian Miller, who is General Manager Corporate Services at Watercare. Adrian has been in this role since March last year. Having graduated from Otago University, she has a first-class honours degree in law. Adrian has been practising law for over 25 years, initially working in private practice before heading in-house and leading up functions at Waste Management, Carter Holt, and most recently General Counsel at Down in New Zealand. At Watercare, Adrian is responsible for people, health and safety, IT, facilities and legal. She's a member of Infrastructure New Zealand's Women in Infrastructure Network Advisory Board. She's on the board for Diversity Works, has been involved in the Smart Seeds program and the Build Auckland campaign. Adrian has championed her organisation's signing of the Youth Pledge and is involved in Connexus Girls for High Vis campaign. She's really passionate about diversity in all its forms and is keen to be contributing to the wider community. So thanks, Adrian, for being here. Next we have Alan Glacier. Alan is GM Corporate Affairs at Moana Fisheries. Alan has worked in manufacturing and FMCG sectors for most of his career, originally held operations roles in the printing industry before moving to New Zealand Steel. He spent some time travelling and exploring the world before taking up an operations role with Hansels and moving into HR management. Alan has held senior roles at Cadbury and Fletcher Building before joining Moana. Alan is very passionate about wellbeing and providing an equal opportunities culture and safe workplace, so thank you, Alan. Then we have Chris Watney, who is Chief Marketing Officer at Southern Cross Health. Chris is an expert in the marketing field with over 20 years experience. He's worked for companies such as Unisys, AXA, Genesis, and most recently Southern Cross for 3 years. 16 years senior management experience, past 10 of which have been in senior leadership roles. He's very skilled at building teams that deliver strong results in competitive markets. Chris is an experienced speaker and has had recent conference presentations covering disruption, digital self-service and customer centricity. He's also been quoted in recent press articles around wellness. So thank you, Chris. And last but certainly not least is Declan Scott, who is part of the Resilience Institute, who have been instrumental in helping us put together this white paper around questioning and the results as well. Declan joined Resilience Institute 2 years ago, having come from professional practice. His He is dedicated to changing the culture of business by inspiring a renewed sense of purpose and creativity in the workplace. He's held various lecturing positions and is a recognised keynote speaker and workshop facilitator. So thank you all for being here, and thank you all for being here, and I'll hand you over to the panel.